All right, now I'd like to talk to you about the great hymn to the Aten. And this is an Egyptian a narrative where Aten is the sun that we see shining in the sky every day. And this attributes creation of humans to the sun itself. Think about that. Why would people worship the sun? Well, without the sun, we would not be alive. And so in this cosmology, in this way of thinking, the sun is credited for all life. And this is from 2,300, 2,400 years ago, before the Common Era. And it praises the sun, starting out with, "Splendid you rise in heaven's lightland, O living Aten, creator of life." It goes on to praise the sun god, saying that roads lie open when you rise, the fish in the river dart before you, your rays are in the midst of the sea. Once again, the sun is omnipresent. So, meaning all present, which I like. That's why I moved to Florida, because I'm not a sun worshiper exactly, but I really hate cloudy days. And where I come from, maybe the sun would appear once or twice in 3 months at a time, and I'd get depressed. I need the sun. So Aten, the sun god, is he who makes seed grow in women, who creates people from sperm. We're getting a little more scientific now, instead of making humans out of clay or just eating a god and having people happen. So a little more scientific. Creates people from sperm, who feeds the son in his mother's womb, who soothes him to still his tears, nurse in the womb, giver of breath. Now, if you like the beach, you may think that the sun gives you breath. When I go to the beach, the water and the sun in combination energize me. To nourish all that he made when he comes from the womb to breathe, meaning humans. On the day of his birth, you open wide his mouth, you supply his needs. So what I would say from this, the great hymn to Aten, is to appreciate the sun. It goes on to say that the sun makes all upon the earth that walk on legs, all on high that fly on wings, birds, the lands of Kor and Cush, the land of Egypt. You set every man in his place. You supply their needs. Everyone has food. Human's lifetime is counted. And then there's this observation. This is what I would call proto-sociology or proto-linguistics. Their tongues differ in speech. Human tongues differ in speech. Their characters likewise. Their skins are distinct. So at this time in Egypt, people had a reckoning and a recognition that there were different races and different people who spoke different languages. But it's not seen as a negative. The sun god gets credit for you distinguished the peoples. Your rays nursed all fields. You made millions of forms from yourself alone. You are in my heart. You yourself are lifetime. One lives by you. And you rouse them for your son who came from your body. Now this would be an example of male birth fantasy. And by male birth fantasy, what I'm talking about is not having a boy. I'm talking about man creating an oral tradition that gets written down where it's not the moms who make the babies, it's the men who birth them. Just like in Genesis, a male God creates humans. And where does Eve come from? Outside of a man through a cesarean section. Male birth fantasy. Because what is the one thing that women can do that men cannot? And maybe you could break it down into smaller things, but give birth and suckle. Feed the offspring. And that in itself is creation.